Welcome to our world. In today's episode, we delve into the latest statements by Vladimir Putin and Ukhnaagiin Khurelsukh for the media. Join us as we explore the key points and implications of their remarks, offering an in-depth analysis of their impact on international relations and regional dynamics. Don't miss this opportunity to gain a deeper understanding of these influential leaders' perspectives. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated with our comprehensive coverage of global political developments. Statements by Vladimir Putin and Ukhnaagiin Khurelsukh for the media. Following their bilateral talks, the presidents of Russia and Mongolia made statements to the press. Khurelsukh. Esteemed Vladimir Vladimirovich. Honored guests, distinguished members of the press. First and foremost, I would like to express my gratitude to President Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin for his official visit to our country as part of the celebrations marking the 85th anniversary of our joint victory in the battle at the Khalkhin River, the 75th anniversary of the founding of the symbol of Mongolian-Russian friendship, the Ulaanbaatar Railway Company, and the continuation of the centennial of the establishment of diplomatic relations between Mongolia and Russia. We have a long-standing tradition of commemorating this significant date, paying tribute to our soldiers who heroically fought, sacrificing their lives for the independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity of our two countries. This commemoration serves to immortalize their patriotic deeds for future generations and to strengthen the unbreakable friendship between the peoples of Mongolia and Russia, which is cemented by great achievements for peace and development. I am pleased to note that the traditional friendly relations and cooperation between the peoples of our two countries, who have always been close neighbors, have strengthened over time, gained new substance, and have now reached the level of a comprehensive strategic partnership. Your current visit to Mongolia, esteemed Vladimir Vladimirovich, holds great significance for enriching the friendly relations and mutually beneficial cooperation between our two countries with concrete economic content, especially for further developing cooperation in the areas of fuel, energy, transportation, the environment, culture, education, healthcare, as well as in the humanitarian sphere. During our meetings, we exchanged views and discussed our positions on current issues of bilateral, regional, and multilateral cooperation. As a result of our negotiations, the parties signed an agreement between the Government of Mongolia and the Government of the Russian Federation on cooperation in the supply of oil and petroleum products, as well as an agreement on the development of a basic project for the reconstruction of the Thermal Power Plant 3, TPP3, in Ulaanbaatar. Special attention was also given to the Ukhnaagiin hydropower plant project, which has been under discussion for many years. The parties signed a Memorandum of Understanding between the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change of Mongolia and the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment of the Russian Federation. I am pleased to note that, thanks to the efforts of both sides, the Ukhnaagiin hydropower plant project has finally gained momentum. Russia is a major trading partner of our country. The total volume of trade between Mongolia and Russia has been increasing in recent years, and measures are being taken to address the trade imbalance. In particular, Mongolia and the Eurasian Economic Union have agreed to conclude a temporary free trade agreement. I believe this agreement will improve the regulatory environment for bilateral trade between our countries and create tangible new opportunities for expanding economic cooperation. We endorse the work of the parties to finalize the temporary free trade agreement by the end of this year. As a result of this agreement, 375 types of livestock products eligible for export to the markets of Eurasian Economic Union member states will be exempt from import duties. During the meetings and negotiations, the parties also agreed to update and accelerate the implementation of projects included in the Mongolia-Russia-China Economic Corridor Program. This will create conditions for enhancing trilateral cooperation within the framework of Russia's Greater Eurasian Partnership Initiative, China's Belt and Road Program, and Mongolia's Steppe Road Program. I express my gratitude for the initiative to expand opportunities for Mongolian students to study in Russian universities under the Russian government's scholarship program. I would like to highlight the importance of our cooperation in the humanitarian sphere and extend my thanks for the initiative to broaden educational opportunities for Mongolian students in Russian higher education institutions under the Russian government's scholarship program. Mongolia advocates for the development and expansion of cooperation with our eternal neighbor, the Russian Federation, within the framework of our peaceful, independent, open, and multi-vector foreign policy. We are committed to multilateralism in international relations based on respect, pluralism, and the historical, cultural, and civilizational paths, national interests, and development trajectories of all countries. We strongly support the further strengthening of the central and coordinating role of the United Nations in global affairs. Thus, our country believes that any problems and contradictions faced by the international community should be resolved through mutual understanding, trust, respect, and dialogue within the framework of international legal norms. We are confident that our eternal neighbor, the Russian Federation, will become a leader in establishing peace, security, sustainable development, and the well-being of humanity worldwide, and will make a valuable contribution to strengthening trust, mutual respect, and cooperation among nations. Mr. President, your visit to Mongolia today has been an important step in strengthening the historical and traditionally friendly relations and cooperation between our two countries, as well as in developing and expanding our mutually beneficial economic partnership. Dear Vladimir Vladimirovich, dear guests, welcome to our country of the eternal blue sky and ancient history. Thank you for your attention. Vladimir Putin, esteemed Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen. We are pleased to join our Mongolian friends in commemorating the 85th anniversary of the victory at the Khalkhin-Gol River. Let me remind you that in 1939, our country, faithful to its allied duty, responded immediately to the Mongolian government's request for assistance following the invasion by Japanese militarists. We pay tribute to the memory, courage, selflessness, resilience, and heroism of the Soviet and Mongolian soldiers. Fighting side by side, they delivered a resolute and decisive rebuff to the aggressor, defending Mongolia's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Their valor also ensured the security of the Soviet Union's far eastern borders during the challenging years of the Great Patriotic War. Over 10,000 Soviet soldiers and officers laid down their lives in the bloody battles on Mongolian soil. I would like to express my gratitude to our Mongolian friends for their careful preservation of the burial sites of Soviet soldiers and for their overall respect for our shared historical legacy. I would like to note that it was on the battlefields of Mongolia that the military talent of the future Marshal of Victory, Georgy Konstantinovich Zhukov, first became evident. He is remembered, known, and honored here. Together with the President, we will lay flowers at the monument to this outstanding military leader in Ulaanbaatar. As you know, last week, with the support of the Russian Ministry of Defense, another monument to Zhukov was unveiled in the city of Choibalsan. In Russia, we remember and deeply value the contribution of the Mongolian people in the fight against Nazism and militarism. During the Great Patriotic War, funds raised by Mongolian citizens were used to build the fighter planes of the Mongolian Arat Squadron and tanks, which, as part of the Revolutionary Mongolia Brigade, fought valiantly all the way to Berlin. Mongolia also supplied the Soviet forces with over 500,000 horses, which was a significant and substantial aid at that time. Next year, we will celebrate the 80th anniversary of victory in the Great Patriotic War. We have invited President Khurelsukh to visit Moscow on May 9. We are also exploring the possibility of a Mongolian military unit participating alongside Russian troops in the ceremonial parade on Red Square. I am convinced that the brotherhood forged in those harsh years of trials, as well as the long-standing traditions of good neighborliness and mutual support, will continue to serve as a solid foundation for the friendly relations between Russia and Mongolia. These relations are developing and strengthening dynamically, fully in line with the Intergovernmental Treaty on Comprehensive Strategic Partnership signed here in Ulaanbaatar exactly 5 years ago. During today's talks, President Khurelsukh and I discussed a wide range of issues related to cooperation in political, economic, and humanitarian areas, and we exchanged views on the most pressing international and regional matters. As you have just seen, several bilateral agreements were concluded as a result. Significant attention was devoted to expanding mutually beneficial trade and investment ties. Russia is one of Mongolia's primary external economic partners, and in the first 7 months of this year, trade turnover increased by over 21%. Notably, commercial transactions between our two countries are now almost entirely conducted in currencies alternative to the dollar and euro. The establishment of close ties between Mongolia and the Eurasian Economic Union would undoubtedly contribute to further growth in mutual export-import operations. Russia has supported the idea of Mongolia concluding a trade agreement with the EAEU. A true flagship of Russian-Mongolian economic cooperation is the Intergovernmental Joint Stock Company Ulaanbaatar Railway. For 75 years, it has made a significant contribution to Mongolia's economy. A long-term development program for the Ulaanbaatar Railway, scheduled to run until 2030, is in full swing. The company is increasing its charter capital, enhancing its throughput capacity, and modernizing its tracks. All these measures are enabling an increase in both bilateral and transit freight volumes between Russia and China. Our country has long and reliably supplied Mongolia's economy with essential energy resources. Last year, more than 90% of gasoline and diesel on the Mongolian market came from Russia. We consistently respond to requests from our Mongolian friends to help meet their growing needs for fuel and lubricants, including on preferential terms. We see promising prospects for cooperation in the gas sector. The design documentation for the nearly 1,000 km-long Soyuz Vostok gas pipeline, which will connect Russia, Mongolia, and China, has been completed. The project is currently undergoing state examination, and its environmental impact is being assessed. This is not just about the transit of Russian gas through Mongolia, we are also considering the possibility of supplying this fuel to Mongolian consumers. Gazprom is ready to provide the necessary support in the practical aspects of gasification in the country. Our energy partnership is not limited to hydrocarbon exports. The Russian company Interrao plans to participate in the modernization and reconstruction of Ulaanbaatar's thermal power plant No. 3, helping to install new equipment and triple the station's generating capacity. This will enhance the reliability of electricity and heat supply for the residents of Mongolia's capital. Russia will continue to supply electricity to Mongolian consumers. We are also open to implementing joint projects in the field of peaceful nuclear energy based on the most modern and safe Russian technologies, including the use of small modular reactors. The topic of humanitarian cooperation was also discussed during the negotiations. Our countries regularly hold cross-cultural days and Russian-Mongolian friendship days. Joint scientific research and expeditions are being organized. Tourism exchanges have noticeably intensified recently. Mongolian athletes were well represented at major international events held in Russia, such as the BRICS Games, the Children of Asia Games, and the multi-sport competition Games of the Future. We look forward to welcoming the Mongolian delegation to the International Forum Russia a Sports Power, which will be held in October in the city of Ufa. Our country has traditionally played a significant role in training highly qualified personnel for Mongolia's economy. Over 2,000 Mongolian students are currently studying at Russian universities, and for 25 years, a branch of the Plekhanov Russian University of Economics has been successfully operating in Ulaanbaatar. The interest of Mongolian youth in obtaining a Russian education is very high, therefore, Russia annually allocates one of the largest scholarship quotas to Mongolia, more than 600 places. And of course, it is important to us that the Russian language is loved and studied in Mongolia. Over many decades, the country has established a well-functioning system for teaching the language, which opens up vast opportunities for acquiring knowledge and deepening business, scientific, and cultural ties between our countries. The Russian side will continue to support the teaching of the Russian language in Mongolia, including in regions bordering our country. When addressing issues of military, technical and anti-terrorism cooperation, it was noted that Russian-Mongolian collaboration in these areas contributes to security in Asia. The discussion of the international agenda confirmed that Russia and Mongolia share similar positions on many pressing global issues. Our program of cooperation continues. During this visit, meetings are planned with the Prime Minister and the Speaker of the Mongolian Parliament. But even now, I can confidently say that the joint work with our Mongolian friends and the agreements reached will contribute to the further development of the multifaceted Russian-Mongolian partnership. And, of course, I would like to once again thank Mr. Khurelsukh and all our Mongolian friends for the warm and hospitable reception. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for tuning into Our World for our in-depth coverage of the statements by Vladimir Putin and Ukhnaagiin Khurelsukh for the media. We hope this episode provided valuable insights into their perspectives and the broader implications of their statements. If you found this content informative, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more detailed analyses and updates on global affairs. Stay connected with Our World for continued coverage of significant political developments and their impact on the world stage.